In this lesson, we're going to tackle the issue of red eye removal. Now, there's as many ways to remove red eye as there are Photoshop artists, and everybody has their own way. I'm going to teach you 3 or 4 different ways of doing it, and then you could pick and choose the one that fits you best. All right, for this, I'm going to choose a couple of different files. The first one I'm going to open is couple.jpg, and we'll just jump right into his pair of eyes here. And we notice that we didn't have red eye removal on our camera turned on, so we've got red eye. So one of the things that some people do is desaturate this pupil area. The part, I mean, what we're looking at are the blood veins in the back of the eye there. So what we're going to do is go into our paintbrush, okay, right here, and I'm going to choose my default colors by clicking this little black and white checker here. And now if I was to come in and I paint, I just get black. Okay, so I'll undo that. And undo is Control Z. You can also go up here to edit and you can do undo. Now one of the tricks that some people do is they'll go up here to where it says mode, and they'll change this down to saturation, and then they'll come in and they'll paint. And what you get, in my opinion, is kind of a passable fix. Okay, it's not perfect, but it's passable. Okay, all right. Let me show you a different way on handling her red eye, which is we'll use the red eye reduction tool. So it's right here, right under the ruler, or under the eyedropper set, right above that line. And we're going to choose this red eye tool. Okay. And what we're going to do is let's just zoom in one more shot here, and we're just going to click once in that red, and click once in that red, and the system is smart enough to figure out where that is. Now we can change the pupil size, so let me revert this. Okay, we'll just go to File, Revert. Let's cancel that. I think I accidentally clicked somewhere on the side. Okay, so now that we have that, let's go ahead and darken this quite a bit. So if I go in and I click once and I hit darken, you see I get a much deeper and richer result. Okay. If instead I choose a lower amount, I'll get that gray. Okay. So again, just depends on what you're trying to do. Now, how do we fix a problem like a file that looks like this? This is child dog. And I'm sure there's lots of pictures that you have in your own set of cameras that have a great picture of like your child or your family member, and then you've got your animal that looks like it's possessed. And that's because we're looking at the same kind of red eye issue here at the back of my dog's eyes. The problem is I can't really use this red eye reduction. So if I click in here, it's trying to find it all over the place. Okay, and let me crank this up so you can really see. If I click once, I'm not getting what I expect, right? It put a little dot right here because it can't figure out where that red is. So let's revert this. File, revert. And here's kind of the old school trick. You get your paintbrush, you get it either black or pretty close to black, okay? And then you just paint in with, we'll just set this back to normal. We're just going to paint this right in, okay? And I actually prefer to use straight black. Okay, I'm just going to click and drag. Paint this in. We'll paint in her eye over here on this side. Okay, and here's the trick. That looks kind of weird, right? So when we get everything like this together, it just looks dead and lifeless. So what we're going to do is we're going to take these colors and switch them. So now we have white, and I'm going to get a really tiny size brush, and I'm going to come in. I'm going to put a little white dot right there and a little white dot right there. Now just by doing that, look at how much life we brought back into this picture because now her eyes match his eyes. So that's just another quick way. If you're in a bind and you don't have those tools available, you can actually go in there and just paint those in. But the trick is put in the little white dots, and you'll pretty much be able to fake your way through any red eye removal if you don't want to use the tool.